How's it going, everybody? Welcome in. Let some people filter in to the show. Late night version tonight. Got some new pickups to go over. How's it going, whoever's here? Glad you could join it. Glad you could be here. Missed last week's show. Said I would make it up and missed that too, so sorry about that. But hopefully tonight we'll have a good 30, 45-minute show. And it's been a while since I've done a long one, a long, lengthy one with some interaction. But hopefully get back in the swing of it. Been watching Joe every week. He's been holding it down. Shout out to him. Thank you for keeping it going and doing it every week. It's not easy, man. It's not easy to do this every week and have something prepared, have something to talk about every week, and interact with people every week. But it's fun. It's fun and it's worth it for sure. But it's definitely hard to keep it going when you feel like you've talked about everything. But it's good when the chat's there to help it keep going. What up, Marlon? How's it going? Yeah, just got back. That's why it's a late night version. Just got back from watching the Yotes beat the Canucks tonight, 4-1. I am a Ducks fan, but I can't beat this look, and I go to a lot of Yotes games, so I just kind of blend in. I like this look. Picked this up for cheap. I think it was like $20, $30 on eBay. So eBay finds are my friend, especially when it comes to jerseys that I usually wouldn't be able to afford. This is an OG or older one, not really an OG. It's not a replica. It was from the time period, CCM. Fit's kind of interesting, but good enough for a hockey jersey. But I got the fit of the night was the Hat Club Glendale Desert Dogs custom made to look like a retro Coyotes colorway. Kind of how Hat Club got around the rules last year when New Era said they weren't making any hockey hats, and then as well, the Coyotes don't let this logo get put on New Eras anymore, or before when they did have the hockey license. So, kind of Hat Club working around borders to make something that people would like. So, speaking of which, I've been out to a couple of AZ Fall League games. No one's really hit me up about it, but I haven't really been known about it. So I'm planning on going back out some more. So let me know. I did see that they're all not Diamond Air anymore, so that's kind of interesting. Seems to be changing up every single year, which is a AZ Fall staple, I guess, changing up the hats every year. But, get new product every year, can't complain. At least they're not using old stuff. Hashtag @NewEra or hashtag @NewEra. But, I wanted to get into some, since it's the time being, some World Series / postseason hats, and it kind of intermixes my new pickups. Don't have any new World Series hats, but I did get to pick up some postseason ones. But then we talk about some of the patches. What up, Mikey? How's it going? Glad to see you here, man. It's been a while. I know we've been not feuding, but we kind of had some words over the Dodger hat. It's nice to see that they're starting to show up USA made. If they don't win, I definitely think I'm going to grab a Dodgers one on postseason. I do need to get one, fill that hole in my collection. I'm definitely missing out on a Dodger on field. So, I do like this year's patch, actually. I like it a lot better than last year's. I know some people have been mixed emotions about it, but I'll get into that later when I start into that section. I'm not planning on a lot of people being here, so it might be me talking to myself the whole night, but hopefully some people will jump in on demand and get their fix in. But anyway, to start off, it's football season. I am a bit of a Chiefs pessimist. My team is the Chiefs, but with the way they're playing, and I started liking their sideline hats from last year after trying a few of them on. So I went ahead and grabbed the Chiefs one. I do like these a lot. The way they fit me. I'm usually not a fan of anything imported, as you guys know, but these fit nice like Diamond Airs, and I can make them work really well. And I don't mind the bill, as at first I hated them, but I actually don't mind it. And I actually do like the ChromaFlex little patch there. Pretty cool touch. I know the MLB is going to this material next year for batting practice hats. Well, I don't know. That was the leak for the A's, if anyone saw that. They leaked their next year's batting practice design, and it was on a material like this sideline hat. Not with this. It had just an all green, kind of like this material. But I wouldn't mind that. I would like that a lot better than Pro Light. I picked this up on clearance. The Chiefs are doing well. Figured it was time to get a new Chiefs hat. I haven't got one since 2016, I believe, and that was a snapback. It was the first year they made in the USA line, and I went and grabbed a snapback because I don't like low profiles, so I grabbed a snapback to at least get something made in the USA. Next one, these are from my buddy Ben. You guys probably all know Ben as the guy who runs the Hat Club Twitter account, or the madman behind the Hat Club Twitter account. He runs the Concord store out in Oakland, the Hat Club. So he helped me with these. There's some in his shop. Picked up this vintage retro of the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, single A of the Brewers. I haven't gotten out to worn it yet, but it was a great find, and I love this colorway. It was pretty cheap too. I think it was like $10, so it was kind of a must-have. And then another one that I got from him was this Memphis Chicks hat. One I kind of wanted since it came out because Bo Jackson played for that team, and it was a Royals team back in the day. It was a Royals farm team, so picked it up. Looks really nice, pretty detailed, really big logo. I'm usually not a fan of big logo hats, but that's how they were, and that's how the time period was, so it makes sense. Got this one on clearance too, so glad I went and picked it up. I haven't gotten a chance to worn it yet, even though stickers are off of it. And honestly, I thought one of those two would be my favorite, and this one was kind of just, yeah, go ahead, throw it in. But this one actually might be my favorite from the grab, from that group of clearance finds that Ben sent me. It was this Tacoma Rainiers. Pretty nice colorway. The pink on there pops really well. There's a pink outlining the Rainiers, and it is pink. It looks like pink to my eye. It might be red. Don't hold me to this pink, but it really pops up there. And the colorway is just great. I love that Northwest green Mariners type deal right there. I got a compliment on this hat from someone who said that they were from Tacoma, and that was like they saw them wear that hat a lot. So kind of cool little hookup to some history for that person. And then the next one from Ben was the A's postseason. Now this one's kind of controversial. A lot of people don't like. Maybe it's infrared. Yeah, I don't think, Mike. I don't think it's that. I just think it's so skinny. I can't really get a good like sense of the color on it. It's not that bright. It looks like a red, maybe a pink. I don't know if you can tell. You guys can tell. It looks similar to the batting seam or the seams in the ball, but I can't really. It looks like a different. Yeah, it's just my eyes confusing me. Might be this lighting too. I could have sworn it was pink in the sun, so maybe it's just my eyes playing tricks on me. But the next one was A's postseason. This is the one they wore on field when they played the Yankees, and a lot of people are. The reason I say it's controversial is because a lot of people think that the wild card game isn't necessarily the postseason or a playoff game. But I do like. I'm glad I got the one they wore. I was trying to get the green one too, but they sold out at Lids. But I might, if they're still floating around out there, I might have Ben hook me up. But glad I got the one they wore. I don't know. I feel like the wild card game is postseason. I get why people don't think it is. Why it's kind of a debate. But it is a playoff atmosphere, and it is something you have to earn. It kind of sucks this year because the Yankees were like far and away a great team, and they had to play a one-game playoff. But what can you do? That's just how it shaped up this year. And like people were saying that if the Yankees were in the NL, they would have been like the 2 or 3 seed or something like that. But you know, that's just how it works. And but it worked out for them. They didn't lose to a team that didn't have as many wins. So the next one I picked up because it's the last of I don't know if you want to call it an era, but just of a design, is the Cleveland Indians 2018 postseason, which never saw them win a game, but it was the last version of this to be worn on field. Pretty glad I got it. Ended up coming USA made. Shouldn't get the patches. Yeah, I definitely could see that. I definitely could see them not glorifying as a playoff game. I think they could be just called as like a play-in game, if you will. But I could definitely see that. Maybe they start doing that. Who knows? Maybe that becomes a rare hat. Who knows? But yeah, last some air, last Chief Wahoo. I definitely need to start branching out and picking up more of these. Interesting to see what they do next year. I know they're doing the All-Star game next year, which means I think they'll have All-Star side patches all year. So we'll see what they go with. Hopefully it's just not the Block C, since they weren't really ready, or I would assume they're ready, but they haven't really hinted at anything new coming. So that was my recent pickups. Pretty solid. It was 2 weeks. I haven't really picked up anything this week, so I was mostly from that. Was pretty much the same hats would have been on the show last week, but glad I could grab some of the ones that I did, and thank you for the help. If you guys helped me out, Ben, and I think a couple people convinced me to buy the Chiefs hat, even though I was on the fence. But yeah, do you buy teams that lose because they're cheaper? No. I actually asked Ben if he had the Kelly Green one, the lighter green, because it was like a new hat and it was a new alternate. It would be a cheap way to get that new hat. But I actually decided to go with the on-field hat that they wore. I don't know. I have that version of the A's hat. I don't know. I just decided to get it this year. It was cheap. That is a factor, of course. That wasn't the deciding one. But it was a good grab. I usually don't buy any losing postseason hats, besides obviously the Indians for that reason. So, like I wouldn't buy my team losing on postseason. The only way I'd buy my seeding postseason hat, which I never did, was if my team won it. Like 2015, I never got the Royals postseason. I ended up getting the Royals World Series, which I'll show off in a few seconds. But yeah, I have those. I have the 2014 and 15 postseason patches to make my own. I just need to get some blank Royals hats to do it too. But yeah, I don't know. I've never really been into the whole postseason patch thing. As you'll see, I think I have one postseason hat out of I think 6 or 7 hats I'm about to show. So yeah, it's kind of just a money grab to me. I know people were. I think they started in 2012 or 13 was the first year. It is not the new Adidas. Sky, the new Adidas is black. This is the white one, obviously. They didn't make a white one in the new Adidas. This is an old CCM. So I did want to get a new Adidas. If you have any questions about Adidas, I could give you my feedback on it. No worries, no worries. I have a Golden Knights white one that's Adidas, and I'm a big fan, so if you have any questions, go ahead and shoot them. I think someone made a comment there that I missed. Let me scroll back here. I never buy a postseason, only World Series. Yeah, I can see that. I can see if your team wins it, be like, okay, now I can go commemorate their run. But then the team who wins it, their postseason hats don't go on sale, even though they're not going to sell like the World Series ones. So it's kind of redundant to me. It doesn't make sense. But yeah, I usually avoid the postseason ones unless I get a great deal and it has to be something I have to have. Maybe a hat that I don't have yet in that certain colorway. So. You know, I think Lids last year, like the Astros won the World Series, and then they discounted their World Series hat before they ended up discounting the postseason one. So I definitely need to hop on an LA one from this year. I'm actually considering both. I don't really have a horse in the race. I actually don't mind either team. I have a couple friends that are Boston fans, so I think I'm kind of rooting for Boston. I work out for baseball in the same place Joe Kelly does, so. That's kind of a factor too. So I don't know. I'm up in the air about it. So I'm just hoping for a good series. So I kind of hope the Dodgers win the next 3. I do know a couple people that are going to the games in LA this weekend. So hopefully they get to see a win. But anyway, so let's start on these World Series hats. Now, Mikey, shield your eyes. I know you're not gonna like this one. This one was a cheap pickup. It is kind of dirty. I had my brush out to kind of fix it up, but I got this for $10 and it was kind of beat up and I restored it. But this is one of the more sought after, I guess. A Giants 2010. I don't know why they were sought after. The patch to me isn't that great. It's okay, but I don't know if it's just Giants fans that are driving up the value to these. People were selling these for like $180 on eBay for some reason. I don't know. I got mine for like $12. I don't. Have you noticed? I don't have many non-Royals stuff. Most of my World Series and patches were because I like the team. I usually don't go for postseason stuff because my team's not in it. Yes, Sky, it's discounted because it's backwards. I actually do have this Boston hat. It's my only Boston on field. This was a hookup from my buddy Neil, who's a big Boston fan. He works out there in Lids, 2013 World Series. He kind of hooked it up because he outgrew it, kind of beat it up, and I kind of fixed it up. As you guys can tell, it's not completely fixed up. It's a little floppy, but it's a free hat. Can't say no. Next one is the Royals' beginning of relevance, I guess. My buddy Andy actually made this. This hat actually saw a lot of action. I wore this to a lot of games. I think I actually wore this in 2014 to the postseason, but it actually wasn't a World Series hat at the time. I wasn't a big fan of this patch to begin with. I think this is probably one of the less not good ones. I wasn't a big fan of. I think last year was better than this one. This might have been one of the worst one. Yes, guy, I'm a Royals fan, big KC guy. Um, but yeah, I wasn't a big fan of 2014's postseason patch for 2014. I thought was better than the World Series. This hat was originally a blank, and my buddy Andy hooked it up with a World Series patch because I was missing out on that one, and they don't really pop up that often. This one, I'm not really into the wasn't really into the diamond area. Worst postseason patch, 2006 World Series 26. Yeah, I can't think of that one off the top of my head. Oh yeah, the big square one. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't have any of those. I haven't seen them in person. In person, in person kind of sells me on it. I can call it bad on a computer all day, and then once I see it in person, I can change my mind. So I'm not a big fan of that. Nothing's ever said to go buy it for me, but yeah, I could definitely see your gripe with that computer grid. This is the Royals' home batting practice, and I think it was last year they put the postseason patches or World Series patches on Diamond Era. I think this was like $11 on Fanatics, and I bought it. I don't remember really the rhyme or reason behind it, but it was a Royals World Series hat, so I don't know how many of those I'll ever see again. So I definitely hopped on that when it was a good deal. I don't think I've worn this once. It definitely fits clunky and is not my favorite, but definitely was something I had to grab. I do like the newer Diamond Eras. The ones before 2016 really fit me like shit. 2016 on, they fit better. So they definitely did something or figured out something to make them less shitty, in my opinion. The 2013 to 2015 ones were awful, and I hated them, and which is what one of those are. So I know they made. I guess I'll talk about this when I get the championship hat, but they kind of made like a replica of that white front. Next one is just the classic on-field. I've worn this a ton. I definitely want to grab another classic 2015 Royals on-field. Funny story about this. These hats were before my hat collecting time. It was the Christmas after, and I ended up getting this hat and a Champions hat from the same person because they didn't know if I wanted either or, and if I wanted to return them, I could. If I wanted to keep them, I could. So I ended up getting the one with the Champions patch, but regular colors, and this one from the same person. So they hooked it up for me. Great presents. So really glad that they did because I would have never bought these on my own at that time. So really glad that it ended up working out like that. Speaking of the Champions patch, here we go. Here's the Champions patch. I don't know how big a fan I am of this Champions patch. It looks decent to me. I don't know how big a fan I am of the Champions patch on a regular hat. For my team, I get it. I'm going to buy it, but I don't think I'd buy any other teams. I know they were selling the Astros last year with that patch, so I don't know. I'm glad I have these. Definitely don't know when the next time the Royals could win the World Series. Could be never. But, yeah, definitely glad that someone bought those for me. I definitely would never bought them myself. And this was kind of after I got into my phase of hat collecting. I had this one put on hold for me, and I went and grabbed it the second it dropped. And it was from Hat Club, I think. This is the ring ceremony that ended up becoming an all-year thing. Definitely was a great colorway. I actually like this a lot more than their alternate. I do like the white outline to the KC. The white button. I think gold button on this would look nice, but I do like the white outline on the KC patch. Looks nice. Gold Batterman looks nice. Definitely made sense with the Royals. You know, a lot of teams, I think the Giants threw gold on their stuff, the Cardinals put gold on their stuff, the Red Sox put gold on their stuff, but for the Royals, it really made sense to me. Obviously, you know, crown, all that. The gold definitely hit home, and it was definitely something that I think they're still on sale on lids. I think they had a shit ton of them, but I definitely think if you end up picking up this hat, you'd like it, even if you're not a Royals fan. Maybe if you hate the Royals, you might not, but I think it'd be a good hat. Mikey, I think I missed your comment there. I got the white front. Yes, white front. I was getting into that. So they made, USA made, not replicas, but like champion hats from lids, and there was a white front and a gray front, and they both were USA made, and they kind of looked like their Diamond Era, and I think they had them as BP replicas. I never bought them because at the time I wasn't a hat collector. Those are two hats that I wish I had to this day. So Mikey, I envy yours. I definitely wish I bought those, one of the two or both, because those are something that would be rare these days. And now, Mikey, we're back into Shield Your Eyes territory because I'm going to go pull out some more teams that you don't like. This was a cheap pickup. I figured since it was end of a crazy drought, I'd get it. My buddy Andy hooked me up with this again. It was originally a World Series hat. He just bought it and got it for cheap, so he hooked me up with it. Cubs 2016 World Series. I pulled the New Era flag patch off. I haven't gotten back to around to cleaning it up yet. Still got some glue on there, but definitely will get that off. 2016 World Series. I did have a Navy Indians, but it was too big after I lost some weight, so I sold it. It was 7.5. I used to be able to fit 7 3/8 and a half. Now I can only fit 4th and 3/8. I'm in between that. Yeah, the Cubs logo is definitely pretty damn boring. I don't really get around to wearing it that much. I do have another Cubs hat with a side patch. I think it's the 100 years at Wrigley. I do have both. There's one like 100 seasons at Wrigley and 100 years as Cubs at Wrigley. It's really weird. They did 2 years of Wrigley side patches. One was like their old logo with like the wishbone C inside and the Cub, and the next year the one had the ivy in it. And I do have a replica of the two-tone. I do like that two-tone. You just showed off my 3 most hated teams. I haven't done them all yet. Don't worry, Mikey. I think I'll get to number 4 then. I think I've showed this hat on here before. Last year's postseason, I got this for $10. This is obviously the Diamondbacks home, I think. I don't know. They have all these weird Sunday hats and they wear them all over the place. So, 2017 postseason, I don't know how big of a fan I am of the patch, but the main reason I got this was it's this hat, and it's USA made, which is pretty hard to find. These hats are better when they're all black. That's just my personal opinion. But I don't work for the D-backs, so I have no say. I think a lot of the hat collecting world definitely has the same opinion. I don't see these very often with hat collectors. More see different on-fields. But USA Made grabbed it because it was cheap. These things fit really weird for USA Made hats. Like, this is a 7 1/4, and it fits me almost like a regular 3/8. It's really, really big for a 4th. So I have no clue what's going on with that. But yeah, the thing I wanted to get into was kind of the patches. I know people have talked about like which year's their favorite, which year's their worst. The D-backs definitely had great hats for the earlier part of their history, and I think they've progressively gotten worse. If they just went back to the original colors, I think it would be better. I actually have a purple one sitting on my counter right there. It's funny enough. But I definitely like their old stuff. I did like that they did turn back the clocks with a bunch of their old stuff. They did the cream/white hat. They did the purple. Funny story. So they actually took away the opposite of this hat, the inverse, where it was red base, black up here, whatever, the opposite colorway. And there used to be like their road hat or an alternate hat. And they actually took that out of their rotation last year and decided to wear only this one, the two-tone with the snake head, the batting practice hat, obviously, I'm not really counting that, and then the teal alternate. But in order to sell, I think this is what I think. In order to sell all their back stock of these hats they only wore for 2 years, they wore 20 years of turn back the clock hats for their 20th anniversary this year. I think it was 25th maybe. And they ended up selling the inverse as turn back the clocks. They marketed them as turn back the clocks when they wore them. They didn't have them tagged like that, but they were saying, oh, here's a turn back the clock hat because we're turning back the clock to, I think it was last year or this postseason. They were turning back the clock to this postseason. They turned back the clock to a postseason where they got swept. Yeah. Anyway, I don't hear waterfall, Mikey. There is literally no noise in my house right now. It might be my phone. My phone might be screwed up. I do broadcast my phone. Sometimes I'll use a laptop, but it's not here right now. My iPad was really screwy, so it might be my phone. Sorry. Sometimes the air kicks on. You might have heard the air a little bit earlier. It's not on right now. But yeah, so patch-wise, I definitely think out of the ones I have, I definitely think the 15 on-field was my favorite. I just think it was a good combination of everything. World Series. The World Series might be too loud, like it's screaming at you saying World Series, but I do like the symmetry, like just the simplicity of this design. I do like this year's a lot. That's why I'm thinking about getting both teams, honestly. If whichever one has clearance, it's peaceful sound. Well, good, and you can watch my show and it'll be soothing. Um, but yeah, I think the worst, like I said, was 14. 14 was really bad. Last year was so small. I don't know if you guys remember. Last year they came out with like the sleeve patch, and it was like a square kind of like rectangle type bottom with the World Series trophy going through it, and it said like World Series 17. I was like, oh, that looks like a great patch. And then when the hats came out, it ended up being just this diamond thing with just WS17. It was like, what is this? And then they ended up making the sleeve patch that diamond thing. It was like, ugh. It was bad. I wasn't a fan of last year's at all. Mikey, maybe it's a blessing you guys didn't win last year, so you're going to have to buy hats with bad patches. Maybe the Dodgers will come back and give you something good to buy. I don't know. I've heard mixed emotions about this year's patch, but when I first saw... I don't know why the birds I switched to... Yeah, I was going to say, this is like the best time of year. All 4 sports are going, plus college. All big 4 pro sports are going, plus college football. But yeah, I kind of was zoned out of this year's baseball season because the Royals were so bad. I really only pay attention to the Royals. I kind of, every year, I kind of hope the D-backs sneak in the playoffs so I could see playoff baseball. But yeah, I was zoned out too. I've definitely kind of not been into the playoffs as much as I should. I watched the end of the Brewers-Dodgers series because it got interesting. Game 7 and whatnot. But yeah, I haven't been really into baseball that much. This year's football's got my attention, but I'm not broadcasting it out there because I know the Chiefs are going to chief, in my opinion. I wait for that every year. I learned my lesson. I was too confident in my team, so I kind of just keep it quiet. But tell us where one of the last 2 years Patch has been so tiny. I haven't seen him in person. The new World Series hat, so I don't know. I don't know why they'd be so tiny. Maybe ease of application. Maybe if they're bigger, it'd be harder to put on. I think Neil sent me a picture of a Red Sox hat or a video, and it was I think it was either a kid's or like a 6 7/8, and he was able to actually like pull up the bottom of the patch halfway because it wasn't glued on all the way. So yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I'm interested to see how they make that hat a Champions hat. I remember a couple of years back they just took the World Series patch and just threw a small sub bar on it and said Champions. I don't know. I feel like making it too big is bad, but also making it too small is bad. I feel like 2015's was perfect size. 16 it's good size, but I don't know about the patch. The patch is kind of meh to me. I feel like 15 was probably the best. 13 might have been pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think there's been a World Series patch that's been, oh wow, that's great. Just because there's no like hook to your team unless it's in it, which at that point it's just kind of like MLB throwing their branding on top of your hat even more. But yeah, 15 was perfect size. Got an 11. I don't even remember what 11 looks like. Was that... Oh yeah, that was Rangers Cardinals. I do know what that looks like. I think it was similar to 2010. I think there's a little bit of difference. Oh no, there was a bit of difference. That's right, there was. It was more symmetrical. The gold leaves, yeah. I definitely need to... If I do like some of those patches, but I've never been called to buy them. I've been able to see them for cheap, but I've never, said, oh, I need to get that, or that's something I need to have. Especially like the earlier World Series. I don't know what it was. I just don't think I was hooked into baseball that much at that time watching it. I definitely watched the shit out of that 2011 World Series. What year? I think the Cardinals wore a ring ceremony, though, right, with gold in 2012. The Cardinals are like the only other team that gold kind of made sense because they had yellow in their design. So that kind of gold hat made sense to me, and they were super subtle about it. It just had like a gold ST interlocking logo, STL interlocking logo, and then a gold line around the batterman, I believe. Those are pretty hard to find, I believe. I don't think I've ever seen them on eBay. I think I've seen small sizes, but nothing in my size. But yeah, certain stuff. If you're ever out and you want to find certain things, hit up your team's fan fest. I'm kind of getting excited for that. I think 47 the Cardinals. Yeah, I think the Indians did that too in 30 something. I want to say 46, 36, something like that. That was ballsy for sure. And the Royals wore their World Series champion hat all year that 2016 season, and they weren't that great, but it was pretty funny. 2012. Yeah, I don't have all these patches locked into my head off the top of my head, but 2012. That was another Giants World Series, wasn't it? Giants Tigers, I'm gonna say. Yeah, those like 2010 through 2013 World Series, I really didn't pay that much attention to. I know they've been doing World Series patches for a while. Yeah, I really wasn't that into hats at the time, and I really wasn't into that. Like oh wow, that patch is cool. But ever since I kind of paid attention to it, since I got into hat collecting, like since 2015 and 14 was kind of a sentimental thing because I was there for some of the games, and even though they lost, it was a great postseason for me. Even though they lost in Game 7, 2015 was kind of when I got into hat collecting. I think I got lucky. The Royals won a World Series that year, and they got some pretty good patches. The Champions patch looks good. The on-field patch looked good. So I got pretty lucky with that. 2016, 2017, 2018 have been meh for me. I wasn't a fan of any year's postseason patch. This year's postseason patch actually grew on me when I saw it in person. It still looks like a Ford logo to me. The thing I don't get is why they don't. I don't know if anyone's seen the sleeve patches. The sleeve patches actually have a blue undertone to them instead of this silver. I think the blue looks better in my opinion. It looks classier than this like diamond plate motif they've got going on with these. Now it's the World Series. I think the World Series one looks badass with that blue on the patch, the sleeve patch. But I think the hat patch is the same silver. Yeah, I don't really know if there's like a right way to do World Series patches. I love when teams do their own like anniversary or commemorative patches, but when MLB makes a team wear a patch that just says they're in the playoffs, I don't know how I feel about it. I definitely have a lot, but most of them were on clearance unless they're Royals related. Yeah, Mike, yeah, it looks like Ford, and I'm not a big Ford person, so I definitely get that, and I definitely see that when I put on the hat. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to design that. I'm sure it's a hard process to think about and sit down and design a World Series patch. Every year they get released, and like the like kind of design gets released around I want to say like really the beginning of the year, like April or so. But we don't really see the postseason patches. They kind of release like the logos. Postseason patches are for sure a cash grab, because I mean you're out there putting money, banking your money on your team. From day one, they make the postseason, and your team can lose in 4 games and not even get a win in the postseason. But now you're stuck with a postseason hat that makes you remember that 4-game sweep that you just watched. So it's definitely a wait and see thing for me. If your team wins it all, it's definitely an extra $30-$40 now, I guess, that I'm willing to spend if my team wins it all. If the Royals went out and won the 2019 World Series, they're not going to. I would definitely buy the postseason patch after the fact. Hopefully, they get the memo that hey, no one's buying postseason hats now. You can put them on sale. No one's gonna buy them. They want the World Series hat now. I definitely would shell out the money for a postseason on field, a World Series on field, and a Champions hat. But it kind of sucks now because like when your team wins the World Series, you're kind of putting yourself in a hole. Like I'm buying 4 hats now. I'm probably gonna try to buy the postseason now if I don't already have it. I'm gonna buy the World Series hat, and I'm gonna probably buy the Champions hat. And now when the season swings back around, I'm probably gonna buy the ring ceremony hat. So yeah, you're putting yourself, and then whatever customs come out of your team winning the World Series. It's a good and bad thing. Just making you spend more money. Hopefully, come out with good designs. I know the Royals, the only World Series champion hats that they really had were those 2 white and gray, the white and gray BP replicas, and then I think they had some snapbacks. They really didn't have many good choices. Shit, Mikey, I forgot to get out the Royal October hat that you sold me. My bad for that one. In 2014, it was the only year that they've done this since. They had the players wear these like motto hats, and I think the Giants wore Orange October, and it was a orange hat with a black bill. What's your for a version of a hat that the teams wear? That's interesting. I actually almost bought one of those, being the A's Kelly Green. The Red Sox have been releasing that hanging socks alternate for God knows how long with postseason patches and World Series patches. They haven't worn it since like 2010 or some shit. But yeah, not a big fan. I feel like that's just trying to get more money out of people. But to kind of give them some, not some help, but some benefit of the doubt is Lids doesn't know what hat the team's gonna wear and not wear, so they're gonna put them all out there. Um, so you can't really fault Lids for getting them all. In the case of the hanging socks, I will fault them or fault the socks because they haven't taken that hat out of their rotation. Technically, on paper, it's still part of their hat lineup, but they haven't worn it in 8 to 9 years. There's a couple interesting stories like that, like the orange Marlins hat, RIP, the purple Rockies hat, all purple Rockies hat. Uh, I know, Scott, you said the 2011 Giants, or not Giants, Cardinals blue they never wore. I see that hat a good amount, actually. Um, but I feel like when they do those hats that aren't worn on field, it definitely is something that could be a collector's item, especially if your team wins it. Like for me, the Royals only had one hat, so I didn't have to worry about that. But like, say you're a D-backs fan and they won the World Series. Well, guess what? Now you get to buy all fucking 3 hats that had the patch on it. So there you go, adding more to your hats. Like last year, the Astros had their orange crown alternate, their navy with orange bill. So there you have 3 hats. Sox need to go red dome, blue bill. Yeah, that old throwback hat. I definitely would like to see that. I definitely would like to see them change it up a little bit. I know these teams are traditional and they have like minimalistic or traditionalistic values to that, but definitely come up with something that's new. I mean, the Yankees have been wearing the same stuff for 100 years, and with little changes to their font, adding pinstripes in certain years. Yeah, definitely. Like even the Players Weekend stuff kind of gets you that a little bit, but it's not great for me. I think I have a couple Players Weekends, but all of them are bought at $10 or under. Yeah, so definitely I think some teams need to change it up. Like you said with the Cubs, worst on-field of authentic. I think you're biased because you're a Cardinals fan, but I also agree it's a really boring hat. The Red Bill one was nice. I do have a replica of that. I do like the Red Bill version. I do wish they brought that back. I need a polyester version. I only think they wore that for 2 years, so I definitely need to keep an eye out for that. I hate red hats or navy brims. Really, I actually I think I have never seen you post it, so that makes sense. I don't mind it. I'm more like navy with red brims, I guess. I definitely need to get away from navy hats. I have way too many, and I don't wear enough because I don't have a lot of navy t-shirts for some reason. A lot of navy garb and get up. But I definitely need to, get some branching out. It'd be interesting to see what the Indians do. Speaking of navy and red. Navy, wondering if they can come up with any more colorways. Like I said, a red crown, navy bill. Maybe something else comes into play. Who knows? But I don't know. What's your guys' opinion on two-tone hats? Some people don't like two-tone hats. I'm actually kind of indifferent. I think if I got the same hat, same logo, like same colorway, except one hat was a navy crown, red bill, and one was all navy, I'd pick the two-tone. Not dependent. It saves the same logo. I'm not going to say a certain logo. I mean, it could be an Indians hat. I still need an all navy Indians hat just for collection purposes. But certain hats, like the Phoenix Firebirds released that Hat Club did. They just re-released it, but they did it back in October, a year ago, I believe. They released an all navy and a navy with red bill. I got the navy with red bill because I think the two-tone is more worth your money, if you will. I would like to see. The Yankees try too much weird shit with their batting practice hats, like the pinstripe on the bill. No, not a fan. I wouldn't mind seeing them stay all mono. I get that one. The Dodgers tried their metallic bill one. I would love to have that for collection purposes, but I don't know if I dig it as a design. Yeah, I can't see those teams wearing two-tones. The Cubs I could see because they wore that red one. The Cardinals had their Sunday alternate. I'm trying to think of like traditional teams that could possibly adapt to a two-tone. But I think pretty much every maybe the the Tigers. The Tigers could bring back that black or navy and orange look again. Navy bill or navy crown, orange bill, with that clawing through tiger look. Definitely could get into that. Uh, but besides that, like the White Sox couldn't do a two tone. There's no way. There's no shot they do a two tone. Um, and that's like really it off the top of my head. Yeah, Sky. I think the same thing. I'm just thinking of like old hats and teams that may have done it before, and the Tigers are definitely a team that have over the years gotten worse with their hats. The Royals did their powder blue. I did like the powder blue. I don't know what if I'd like to see that again. I maybe with a different logo. The Angels the navy crown red bill combo. I know Mikey wouldn't get it because he hates the Angels. I'm on the same boat. I do not like the Angels at all, but that hat would be a really clean one. But yes, the Royals. I was actually talking to somebody about this, and I was hoping, kind of spitballing, that the Royal metallic brim looks good, but I was thinking that the powder blue crown, royal blue bill, but with the crown logo in gold still. And I thought that would look really cool for a batting practice hat. They wouldn't have to make it an on-field. They're making new batting practice hats next year for anyway, and they've done something different every single year. How about that logo as a batting practice logo to keep it around so it doesn't just become a one-off thing and disappear? I would love to see that. I don't know if that's going to happen. I have no clue if it does happen. I just guessed. I don't have any inside info. But that would be something I'd love to see the Royals do. But yeah, the Angels definitely need a change up. They need something different, whether it be, I don't know, changing their halo to fucking gold like everyone wants them to. The Angels are a mess. They just decided to opt out of the lease with their stadium, and it's like, where the hell else are you gonna move? But okay. I like that R logo, honestly. It looked cool on stuff. I wasn't a fan of Pro Light, so I wasn't going to buy that. I like the jersey with the R logo, but I think that the KCU with the crown looked better than the R with the crown. I didn't hate it. Scott, I don't think they're going to go back to anything old. The Angels are too, now they're, trying to make their new branding a thing. The red A. Yeah, something different. Put it on a navy blue hat. Put it on a two-tone navy blue hat. This year, they changed their hat this year. You know what they changed? They made their New Era flag. I guess I don't have one of this hat that's visible. They had a New Era flag the first 2 years, or first year was white. This year they changed it to metallic silver, and that today technically means they got a new hat. So, yeah, they definitely are trying to make that traditional. I think that's what they're going for, is try to make it like a Yankees type deal where they have the same hat for fucking ever. They definitely had better looks before. I did like the gold crown when they did it in 2011 for their 50th anniversary. That looked great. Gold crown halo. I have bad experience with them, Sky. I've just had fans that have given me crap for being a Royals fan my whole life, and then just basically friends that grew up with gave me crap about the Royals. Friends or people inside the stadium gave me crap about being a Royals fan when I watched the Royals in their 100 lost seasons in the mid to late 2010s, I guess, 2000s, 2010s. I have developed an unfair bias in some cases towards them, against them. But yeah, I actually own a lot of their hats. I have a couple of the batting practice hats, and I have a couple. I think I have 2 of their on-fields. I do have a 2010 All-Star hat. I did go to that game, so it's kind of a sentimental thing, so I'm glad I got that. But I think I grabbed one of their regular on-fields. I lived in Temecula, local team. Yeah, damn, I didn't know you lived down there. Riverside County. I was definitely around that area. Lived in Corona back in the day, then moved to Orange County. But now they're talking about moving, or they're threatening moving, and they tried to opt out of their lease. I think they're called the loss. Yeah, no. Actually, Mikey, Angels fans hate that shit too, unless they're Angels fans from LA. All the Angels fans I ever knew hated that move. They loved Anaheim. A lot of the kids my age loved Anaheim. I know a lot of people wanted them to be called California Angels again. But unless you're dominating baseball, I think California, you can't claim to be California's team. I think it's posturing too. I think they want a better deal or some renovations done. some more money. But if somehow that posturing turns into them having to build a new stadium, I think they're pretty well screwed to finding a new place to play in Orange County because there's really nowhere else to go except for maybe on the old Marine Corps Air Base in Irvine. But yeah, Mikey, everyone hated it when they made their name LA. All the people I grew up with my age said that Anaheim should have stuck, and I actually miss the Anaheim jerseys. I liked that. I actually thought that was clean. It represented where they're from. Like there's like I said, you can't claim to be like you said, you can't claim to be California's team unless you're winning every year's World Series or beating the best California team year in year out, which is simply not going to happen at this time. I mean, next year they could be a good team, but they definitely haven't dominated enough to earn that title. Back when they were the California Angels, I mean, there's 4 teams in California. Five maybe. I think all 5 were there actually. Yeah, I don't know. Rich white kid Angels. Yes, that's who all my friends with. That's who I pretty much grew up with. That's where I went to high school, was with rich white kids. So basically, those rich white kids didn't want to identify with ghetto LA, so they liked it being called Anaheim. Yeah, Mikey, I know. I thought for some reason there was not as many teams back in the day when they called California, but there was. Don't know what made me think that. Apparently, I thought the Padres were a new team. Easily the hottest fans in baseball, though. I don't know. Yeah, no, Sky. I definitely didn't think you meant the women's. I definitely don't. I never thought of it that way. I can definitely see that. I think the D-backs do pretty well for themselves with ASU down the road, and GCU, which is an up-and-coming university. But definitely some weird stuff with that. There's definitely improvements could have been done with their uniforms for sure. Sky, I know you're asking Mikey, but I've been to the Big A a lot of times. I couldn't count and tell you how many because I basically, until I was 17 years old, that was the only baseball stadium I had locally. And only that was my local stadium. I think hey, I could definitely see that for you, Mikey. Definitely. But I guess since we're on the topic real quick, I've been to Angel Stadium, Dodger Stadium, the Padres Stadium, the Giants Stadium. I've been to Chase, obviously, and I've been to Kansas City, and now randomly I've been to the Marlins Stadium. I went there a couple years back. We were on a cruise, and the Marlins were playing the Padres. Really cheap game, and we decided to go to St. Stephen's Stadium. But I want to say that, honestly, if you've been to the Big A, it's honestly, out of those parks I just named, I honestly dislike it the most. I think Dodger Stadium is old, but I think it's traditional and it makes sense and it fits with how long, and they renovate it like to keep it updated. But Angel Stadium just feels outdated when you walk in the door. I mean, it's got sunken in concourses for the most part, where you have to walk through a tunnel to get out stuff, and you can't see the field from the concourse. There's also the weird, rubberized dimple floor throughout the whole place that makes you feel like it's 1975. It's bad, man. I mean, I know they make it glorious, seeming with the rocks in center field, and everyone always talks about that when it's on, primetime TV or on, Sunday Night Baseball or whatever. But other than that, it's really not that great. It definitely is in need of renovation or some kind of, fucking upkeep. New Marlins colors. Yes, Mikey, I think I mentioned November 1st is what I'm hearing. Unfortunately, what I'm hearing is there's only going to be one hat as of now. I don't think that's going to be... I think they're going to have more than one hat, but as of now, the unveiling, there's only going to be one hat is what I heard. Could change, could not be right. And it's all black with a certain logo. Sorry to ruin any kind of high hopes you had with colors. Customs obviously will come into play. Hat Club's definitely going to jump on it if they can. Right away. I don't know if they can. I don't know how that works. I don't know how new logos coming in, how that works, how you can make customs. But Yeah, as of now, I'm only hearing all black. Sky, I actually don't mind it. Um, I think it's better than the M logo, personally. I don't know about the switch to Miami Vice colors. I get it. It's it's very popular for down there and very popular for that theme, and it makes sense. But I don't know if not choosing to go back to the teal is the right way. I love the teal. Um, Maybe they can make some kind of alternate with the teal only. But yeah, I do agree that it's better than the old M, or the middle M, I guess. That logo was really confused to begin with. Like, at first, I always thought it was too big, and I ended up getting a black hat with it. And then they had the orange one. I always wanted the orange one. I still haven't gotten the orange one. And then they never wore the orange one. But then they made it smaller, and I just thought it looked too small, in my opinion. They made it smaller for this year. And then they made it put on they put it on the orange hat, which they still didn't wear that year, so it was really confusing. But yeah, color. I don't mind color change alternates. I get what you're saying. Seattle, like the throwback with the royal and the yellow. I don't mind color change alternates, but it has to fit a good theme within your design, I guess. For Seattle, I guess it kind of works. I wish they would use the throwback logo. I don't know if that was the greatest idea, putting it on the current logo. But I get what you're saying there. I like the large M. I didn't like it at first. I definitely liked the bigger M than the small mini one that they have now, or did have now. But those hats are gonna be super hard to find eventually, I think, because I don't think they sold very many of them, and now that's a 1 year old hat, 1 year only hat. So I definitely might be on the market for a black one. But yeah, as of now, only the rumor on the street is they're only gonna have an all black one, which is definitely not a mistake, but a missed opportunity. Even if you said, okay, this is gonna be our only on field, and then here's all these customs we're gonna make for unveiling, because I know there's a lot of people who they're gonna like that wild colorway. I definitely think there could have been an opportunity for a rail style hat. I don't know if you guys who are here know what that is. Basically, it's just a white panel hat with a different color bill. I definitely think they could have went black back top part of the hat, white right here, and then maybe the light blue or the infrared on the bill. I think that would look nice. I don't know. I'm not a team's designer. Seems like Jeter's probably going to keep it very simple. I think pretty much he's the one doing it. But I'll go with the teal Vice blue would be the next best choice, though. Yeah, is that the blue that's technically in there? Yeah, tricolor, pretty much. Not pinwheel style, where it has a different color, it has the same color here, but different panel on the back, different color on the back. But just like all black all the way around here, white front. Yeah, their current color's not that great, Mikey. I agree with that. I definitely do like that blue in their logo. I always said they should have a blue hat, which is why I bought their Players Weekend when they came out with it. I think that was their biggest another missed opportunity for them was a blue alternate hat. Even if it was on a white, wearing it with your white jerseys, it would have made sense, but that's their doing. Maybe it was not an option for them somehow. Maybe New Era couldn't make the hats till last year or something. I have no clue. But yeah, definitely interested to see what they do with it. I've seen some people's guesses at what the uniforms are going to look like, and I don't know how I feel about them. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna wait until season gets here. They have the thing with Major League Baseball is you have a lot of designing to do. You have to make you have to make your merchandise. You have to make your Nike. You have to make your Under Armour. You have to make your fucking Adidas stuff. You have to make all these different branding type word fonts and all that stuff. So it's been in the works forever. They have what I heard was that this hat was sent in to New Era and been approved in May of this season, so 2018 season. They already knew they were going a different direction, which is weird to me because then you had just made a brand new hat this year, a brand new logo size this year. But like I was saying, there's so much to do when you do a major league team rebrand. I mean, you have to make all your hats, you have to make all your hoodies, you have to, like with minor league, you can just make your hats You can just make your uniforms and then have sparing merchandise when teams do it, and then as time goes on, add to it. But with Major League, you got to have all your shit done. Like you have to have your Nike hoodies, your Nike dry fits, your Under Armour, whatever tech fits, whatever they call them. You have to have your I don't know. It's still gonna be Majestic next year. Your Majestic on-field hoodies. You have to have your uniforms. You have to have your batting practice jackets. You have to have your batting practice jerseys. You have to have all this different crap. So I'm sure they worked the entire year designing all that stuff, and I don't know if it's gonna be available day one or November 1, day one. I don't know if that's gonna be considered day one. I would assume the hat would get popped up. I would suggest paying attention to Lid's last page of new arrivals or search 5950. Go to the last page because they like to hide stuff back there, stuff they don't have full sizes of. So who knows? In the next couple of days, new Marlins hat might pop up there when it's not supposed to. That's Lids for you. It's happened before. Wouldn't be surprised to see it happen again. But we'll see. The funny thing is I'm sure certain retailers, such as Lids, have had these hats in boxes for a while. And I've known about it for a while, so I'm sure it's been hard for people who work there to keep it a secret, which is why I'm not surprised it leaked 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. As it got closer, someone probably told someone probably had the file, sent it to someone they weren't supposed to, and the person leaked it. So, this new stuff with who was the last team to change their look, if you think about it? It was, completely overhaul. Not like add a uniform or add one hat, but completely change their entire look. I'm pretty sure it was the Blue Jays when they went back to their royal blue, and in the same year the Marlins. Oh, the Diamondbacks completely overhauled their look. But the thing is they didn't. I still don't know if that's a complete overhaul. They changed all their uniforms and changed their caps, but they still have the same logos. Some different colors thrown in, but they still have the same logos as they did before. The last team to change the logos entirely was the Marlins and Blue Jays back in 2012, I want to say it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. I get what you're saying there, Sky. They changed pretty much every single piece of their on-field look, hat-wise, but they kept their logos. Baltimore in 2012. Yeah, Baltimore with the cartoon bird. That's right. So that 2012 year just had a bunch of rebrands. But the thing I was getting at is here you have the Marlins, because it makes sense when you have a new owner. It happens all the time in minor league when a team either switches affiliates or switches owners. They definitely change up their look because what happens is the owners want to put their own input into the look. Chris will definitely have a chance. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes down to Lids the first day they unveil and see if they have him. I would bet money that they're in their back rooms right now, like down in Miami first. The Marlins, here they are changing their look again in 2018 when they were the last team to Major League overhaul their look in 2012. If that doesn't speak volumes about the Marlins organization, I don't know what will. But it happens a lot though when owners take over and change up ownership looks change because the team owners don't like to look at the product of the old owners unless you're a traditional team or have a lot of connection to your branding. That's why minor league changes so much, because there's not a lot of connection there. I think that's a lot of reason why alternates became a big deal, because then if an owner wanted to add a look that they wanted to look at when their team was on the field or wanted to feel responsible for, they have an alternate, they go ahead and add it. And they're getting rid of the statue, thank God. Honestly, I say thank God, but I didn't hate it that much. But still, it was terrible. It was pretty terrible. It makes you better in football, but doesn't do shit in baseball. What uniforms? I playing as a pitcher, I give a shit. I do like to pick my uniform and pick from the best, but I don't have all the swag elements that baseball players have these days. But to certain positions on the field, I feel like it's very vital to a performance to look the best on the field. Shortstop, center field, big swag guys. With all the gear, with all the leg guards and elbow guards and sleeves and all that shit. That's a big deal for those type of guys. Big ego guys in baseball definitely care about that a lot. I don't know if they care about their uniforms as much. I feel like, you don't really have a choice to wear them. but I feel like a lot of guys definitely like or feel better when they play in certain uniforms. Um, that's why pitchers. I think the Indians this year. Uh, Before you get to pro ball and you have designated home roads and like Friday hats or Sunday hats, a lot of time the starting pitcher of the day will pick the uniform. So there's an element of look good, play good there. Definitely, there's pitchers that are superstitious about what they wear. Uh, I think the Indians wore their Indian hat this year, not Block C. I think they wore their Indian hat like 120 games out of 160 or something like that, just because that's what the pitchers picked. That's what happened last year. They're getting shit for wearing it in the World Series, and their pitchers still wore it because, that's what they wanted to wear. Um, but I definitely get it from the football standpoint. Football uniforms are a big deal, helmets, all that stuff. Um, but I feel like football teams in general, not to get off topic, but football teams look in general haven't changed all that much, save for a few teams. Like, you don't get alternates anymore. The one shell rule means you can't have different changed up helmets. So it's kind of unfortunate because I like when teams have throwback stuff. My Chiefs have looked the same since the 60s, so, it's a lot of tradition in football. Football is very, very weird in the fact that, it has the Titans 2018. Yeah, Mikey, I actually do like their new look. Definitely looks better than their old look. I do like their powder blue stuff. Jags 2018. I'm thinking logos for the most part. I get the colorway switches up. The Titans was a pretty big one. They didn't change their logos all that much, but they changed their uniforms completely. Throwback is a lot better than Color Rush. Color Rush is brutal. I wouldn't mind an alternate jersey instead of Color Rush, even if it wasn't a throwback. Store. What colors are helmets again? It's navy now, all navy with a white face mask, and do they have a powder helmet, Mikey? I'm sure if they do, you would be all over that. But throwbacks would be a good idea for certain teams. Fuck, they are wearing throwbacks at Chiefs. I really like the Chargers powder blue jersey, even though I hate the Chargers. That jersey is their best jersey, bar none. I really liked. Everyone disliked their switch up that when they moved from that all navy, dark navy look to the look they have now. But I think people stuck to that powder blue jersey. I do like that, and in SoCal, that was kind of a popular one. At least growing up, it was when I was around Charger fans. The Raiders haven't changed all that much. The Broncos have changed a little bit over time, but I feel like they've worn the same jersey for the past 20 years or so. Same look for the past 20 years. I think I'll get into football more next show. My phone's about to die, so I probably should hop off here. Got a good hour show in. Mikey, Sky, thanks for jumping on. I'm glad I could give you some late night entertainment here at, I think, 11:30 my time, or I don't know, 10:30, 11:30 my time. But I appreciate you guys hopping on. Next week we might have a football show. I might do more baseball related stuff. I haven't decided. Definitely going to get back to doing a show next week. They got rid of Powder Blue almost entirely, so there's almost anything there. Oh, Mikey, I bet you're not happy about that one. Gotta get some sleep. Yeah, I went to this hockey game today, Sky, and didn't pick up my copy of Red Dead because they said that they were only going to be there for 20 minutes after 9 o'clock, and I didn't get home till 10:30. So my copy is sitting at the store still, so I can't even download it tonight. So I'll be grinding tomorrow. But thanks, guys. You guys are great. I'm glad I could get back to interacting with people. It's good to have people back on. Good to get back into talking with just just conversing. Damn, it's good. I've been trying to not watch people put YouTube videos up, but I catch myself. But I didn't have that many hats tonight, but talking with you guys made it go by, made it last long. So I appreciate it. So thanks to everyone out there watching, whoever watched on demand. Feel free to hit me up if you have any questions that you want to ask about on the next show. You can hit me up on my Instagram, fittedguy16. Mikey, I did see that. Hit me up on Facebook with my name, Brett Swartz. Twitter, Swartzy16. You'll see me rant about sports. Not really rant, but just make comments towards things on there. But yeah, feel free to hit me up, leave comments, ask questions, request stuff. Anything, hit me up. I'm very open and responsive. I definitely like to help people out as much as I can with my very low amount of knowledge towards stuff and low monetary ability to help out. But I definitely love to lend a helping hand. Thanks, guys. You guys are great. I'll see you next week.